Hey everyone, it's RedCometXIII, and I'm back with another video, and you are seeing me live. Well, not live, it's recorded, but you are seeing me for the first time. We're doing something a little bit different today. This is a subscriber special. I have been wanting to, I have been wanting to do this, but basically the channel has like blown up over the past couple months, I guess you could say. And I've always wanted to, if I ever got to that point, I wanted to do subscriber specials at every kind of like milestone, I guess you'd say, like 100, 200, what have you. But before I could do that, the channel blew up, like for me, it blew up. But basically, before I could do anything for 200 and 300, those marks had already been passed. So we are doing now at 350 because that was the next goal I could do. So at 346, I put out a poll on the community page, and it was, hey, I want to do a subscriber special at 350. These are the choices, and they were Q&A, which nobody voted for, which I kind of disappointed. I kind of want people to ask about me, but it was that. It was a Legend of Zelda tier list. It was Let's Play College Football 25 and a game room tour, which I actually really want a game room tour to be number one. But maybe we'll do that some other time. You get to see some of it here as we're doing it now. Also, our beautiful fireplace. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Is doing a Zelda tier list, and I really wanted to be. I wanted to be on camera for when I do something like this, just to make it different, to make it maybe a little more personal. But you have me here. I'm in my purest form. I'm not shaved. Hair's pulled back. I'm wearing women's clothing because I like women's video game clothing, I guess. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that everyone else does. I hope you all don't kill me after this, because there are going to be some choices that people aren't going to like, but it is what it is. But the criteria for the list is just two things. A, we're going in chronological order. So whenever the game was released, we're going to put it on the list at that time. So there's that, and I'm only ranking games that I have actually played. So we're not going to do a list of, oh, this is what I didn't play or anything like that. Whatever I've played is what we are doing. So with that being said, that means that our first game that we're going to rank is actually the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Let me explain. I had a Nintendo Entertainment System as a kid, obviously. The NES came out in '84, and I was born in '86, so I was 2 when it came out. But I had one in the early '90s, before I got a Super Nintendo. But I had Mario. Mine was the one that came with the Zapper. I think 2 controllers, and it came with Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, like 2-pack, like in one cartridge. So I had that. I had a lot of the classics growing up. I had that. Dang it, I'm trying to think of some other ones now. Super Mario Duck Hunt, Ninja Turtles, because everybody had Ninja Turtles, even though the game sucked. What I always remember is Lunar Pool. I don't think anyone I know has ever played Lunar Pool, but it's cool. Check it out. But Zelda and Zelda 2 were ones that I did not have. And honestly, if I had them as a kid, I would have been too dumb to play them. So I'm kind of glad that I never... Not that I don't want to say I'm glad I never had them, but I've never gone back to them because I know that even though I was there for it, the games were before my time, if that makes any sense. If I had been a little older at that time and actually owned them, then the story would be a lot different. But anyway, what we're doing now is we're going to rank Link to the Past. And I first played the game when it came out. I borrowed it from a friend, which, remember those times when you would borrow video games from a friend? It's not a thing anymore. But anyway, I borrowed it from a friend, and as I was saying with Zelda 1 and 2, I was too dumb to play it. and I did not have I didn't have Nintendo Power, so I didn't have fun. And I finally did play it on it was either the Wii or the Wii U Virtual Console. I finally played it as an adult, and hey, guess what? I was too dumb to play. It did not go well. I had to use a guide through like 90% of the game, and when I have to do that, that kind of ruins the game for me. So unfortunately, I know people are going to be like not happy, but Into the Past, I can't put it higher than a C. If I had played it as a kid, I'm sure it would have been, the bee's knees. I would have gone totally ape over it, but it just didn't happen. Secondly, we have Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and I did play this when I was a kid. Hey, guess what? I was too dumb and did not know what I was doing. So, again, I know people love this game, just like they love Link to the Past, but I'm sorry. This is not starting out well. And I guess while we're here, we might as well just talk about Link's Awakening on Switch. I'm actually playing this game. Was playing this game like right now. I just got it a few weeks ago, but the problem is that I got it. I also bought Spider-Man 2, which I hadn't played yet, and it definitely favored that game more than College Football 25 came out, and it's kind of fallen by the wayside. And I have the same problem with it with the others. I'm too dumb. I can't figure out where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do. So, unfortunately, I do think it's a fine game, but I'm right there with like Link to the Past. I know people are already turning the video off and are already in the comments like blasting me. But look, sorry, like it's just how I feel. So we're skipping the CDI games, and that brings us to Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I should just not even say Zelda. That's what we're talking about. It's crazy to think that Ocarina of Time on 64 was the 1, 2, 3, 4 was like the 5th game in the series, like the 5th core game. Because the CDI games basically don't count, but is it not nuts that like in a course of 5 games we went from the original Zelda to Ocarina of Time? Like, to me that's like really crazy. As my cat opens the door, but I don't know. I thought about that recently and was like, whoa, we really made a jump in 5 games. To me, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but to me, it's nuts. So, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way now. This is a goated game. I wish they all didn't have a gold background, but Ocarina of Time for me it's one of like my personal goats. Like, when I first played that game, like it blew my fucking mind. Like, I'd never played a game like that. And I can see how like if I'd played the original Zelda, like how Ocarina of Time was basically that on steroids. But, I never got around to it. So, Ocarina of Time was really it was my first exposure because I did play Link to the Past back in the day. But playing that game, like, that to me, like, that is my first Zelda game. That I consider it my first, even though it really isn't. But I have so much nostalgia for this game. And it's like one of my like top 2, like 1A and 1B, like that kind of scenario. So I love this game. It's a game that I'm very nostalgic for. I haven't done it. I've been bad about it the last few years. But this used to be a game I played once a year. Like every year I'd set aside some time to play this game and like not replay it, relive it, re-experience it. I mean, I'm being dramatic, but that's truly how I feel about the game. And you know, as a kid, you know, in 1997 when it came out, 97, 98, you know, I was transitioning from a kid into a teenager at that time. And I think I played the game at that perfect time where like I was so able to associate with Link as a kid and then becoming like an adult. Even though that's not what was, obviously I didn't travel 7 years in the future or anything like that, but yeah, very nostalgic with this game. And I think it triggers so much nostalgia in me just from the music. Like, you know, Epona's song, Saria's song, Zelda's Lullaby, the main theme slash Great Fairy theme, all that. But I think the song that gets me like in the feels the most is actually Sheik's theme. Which whenever you talk to Sheik, you know, obviously that song is playing. And Sheik is always talking about time, which of course, like time is like a huge theme of the game, but she is always talking about time, like moving forward and how like you can't go back and things like that. And every time I play it when I'm older, like it hits harder every time I do it. So yeah, Ocarina of Time, you know, I think today, yeah, it does. It's not as great today as it was back then, but it is a game that I can go back and replay anytime, still get like the warm fuzzies and really like reminisce. And I love it. It's one of my favorite games ever. That being said, our next game is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which came out not long after, like 2000, I think. Got it near launch. I had the cool like holographic gold cart, and this is a game I'm not as nostalgic for it as Ocarina of Time, but I love it. It was, I'm not gonna say like a perfect sequel or anything like that, but it definitely did it for me again, because this time, you know, I was a little older when it came out. The theme was a little bit more mature. There's a bunch of like, search YouTube for it. There's a bunch of like theories about how the game is about death and like stuff like that. And it does have like a very dark and twisted kind of vibe to it. And I dug it back then. I still dig it now. I really love it. I can't put it on the same tier as Ocarina of Time, but it's like, it's right there. It's A+, you know, it's right below S. After that, let's see. Did I skip some? No. So we have two Game Boy Color games, the Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. And these are games that I played somewhat recently, and I played them on my Game Boy Color, if you know what I mean. But I like them enough, but I think the stories are really cool, but it's just a thing with like the two. You're gonna see this as a theme. The 2D games just kind of don't really do it for me, and I guess that's because I started with the 3D games and then going back. Even though these games came after the 3D games, I guess it's always been hard for me to go back, and that's partially on me, I guess, but it is something that, you know, it's just different times, I guess. But with that being said, I don't think they're bad or anything like that. I don't think there's a truly bad Zelda game, but the CDI games do exist, so I guess you can scratch that. But let's see. I think these games, I'm going to group them together. I'm going to put them, right there in the C range. I don't think they're bad or anything like that. They're just not really my thing. So that being said, we're actually going to be skipping quite a few games here, as I did not play a lot of these. Some of them are on my list. Like, I want to go back and I want to play Minish Cap. I've never played Minish Cap, and I've always heard that's a great game. One of my best friends, IRL, loves that game. I think it might be his favorite Zelda game, but I want to play it, so we'll get around to it at some point. So that gives us Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I'm specifically going to talk about the GameCube version because I've never played the Wii version. I bought a GameCube when that game came out. Like, I did not own a GameCube until Twilight Princess dropped. And I think I was able to get one for, like, really cheap, too. Like, because I guess the Wii had just come out, so I guess the GameCube people weren't buying them, or they were trading them in for it, because I went to GameStop, and I feel like I bought one, like a silver one, for, like, $50. Like, I feel like that's right, because I think I bought the game and the system for, like, under $100. Which is crazy to think about now. But I love this game. To me, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess are kind of like their own trilogy, if that makes any sense at all. Because I started out with Ocarina. Like I was saying, we're growing up. We're going from little kid gaming to like more like adult gaming, like these open worlds and more complex storytelling, things like that. Majora's Mask doubles down on it, makes it a little darker, a little bit more sinister. Cool. I'm older. It's like the game got older, if that makes any sense at all. And then with Twilight Princess, it's like we hit the crescendo. We hit the peak, the apex, where now we've gone from little kid to adult, or little kid to teenager. Now in this game, you play as Link fully as an adult. He's only an adult. Well, he's a wolf too, but it's like I played all three of these games at the perfect time in my life. And I think there's just things that happen where you do something at the exact right time you should have done it. And I think playing those games coming out when they did for me was like perfect. So I do like the game. It's not as dark as Majora's Mask, but it does have like a very mature storyline. It looks sinister at times, especially like, with the Dread dudes. I don't remember what they're called, but it's like the Twilight guys. And it's a great game. But I've always seen these three games as connected. And I think, if I remember correctly, like the skeleton swordsman guy who teaches you like your moves in Twilight Princess, I think they allude to him being the Link from Ocarina of Time. I'm sure someone will correct me. So there's that. But anyway, this game, I think it's damn near S. It might be on the same level of Ocarina of Time, but it's really hard for me to like put another game up there. So I think I'm going to give it a solid A. It's like A++. It's right there. It should be S, but like there's just something a little bit about it that I can't put it there. I will say it has one of my favorite ending fights in the whole franchise, where you fight the big Ganon. It's like, oh, okay, I need a big pig guy. We already fought him. But then, like, where it comes down, and you're riding on the horses in Hyrule Field. Zelda's with you. She's helping you out. She's shooting him with the arrows, and then you have a one-on-one sword fight with Ganondorf. Like, that was fucking cool. What? But one of my favorite end boss fights from any Zelda game, and it's almost enough to put it at S when I really think about it. But we're gonna stick to our guns. It's gonna be an A. So up next is going to be I feel like there's more Zelda games than this. Maybe I'm using the wrong list. But next up is Ocarina of Time 3D. So it's my favorite game, but it's a port. And it's pretty damn good. I love the 3DS port of Ocarina of Time. I think you could argue that it's the best version of the game. It looks amazing on the 3DS. I wish they would like just port it to the Switch or something. I want to play it on a TV, but they haven't done that. They'll probably never do that. So that being said, it's like, can I put it on the same? It's the same game, right? So it would have to go on the S tier. Wow. Sorry, I gotta give my cat some pets. She's feeling much better now. She was sick for a little bit. Looks like she's doing good. I know. So anyway, back to Ocarina of Time 3D. I gotta put an S. It's the same game, and it's like a little bit better. The only knock I can give it is that it's on the 3DS and not. I can't play it on TV. That's the only thing I can do. But moving on. Now we have Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which was on the Wii. And let me get this out the way. It's a fucking F. I borderline hate this game. This was the first Zelda game that ever disappointed me. I was looking forward to it. I didn't get a Wii like right away, so I did have to wait a while before I could play it. And that being said, I was really looking forward to the game, and then it's because they're like, it's the origin story, it's the first Zelda, the first Link, it's the Ganondorf, the Master Sword, and then I was really looking forward to seeing what the origin was, and I just think it was not executed well. All the characters in the game suck, except for Zelda and Impa. Like, they're like the two best characters in the game. I hate the way Link looks. He looks so badass, like on the box and in like the promotional material. I'll show him later in the video, but I have a Link figure. It was like the cheap, like first 4 figures version of him from this game, and he looks badass. But like in the game, he looks so derpy and stupid. Like, why did they do that? Like, I don't get it. But yeah, like, really didn't like the game. The gameplay is not that good to me. The story's not that good. The world's not that good. Like, to me, it's just not a good. It's a good game, I guess, but it's a bad Zelda game, in my opinion. It is. But yeah, and like the Ganondorf thing, the Demise was his name or something like that. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, he was just some big, strong dude and was just like, okay, I'll just curse you. Like, he pulls a Dracula from freaking like Castlevania, from like Lament of Innocence or something, where the Belmont family is cursed to forever hunt him. I think that's what he did. Like, he did a Dracula. But now that I look at this list, I realize that Wind Waker HD is not on here. Just the original Wind Waker. So that being said, we're going to rank that now. And let me talk about this real quick. When they first announced Wind Waker, I was pissed. I was like, what is that? Because I was one of those people that saw those tech demos for the GameCube, and it had this like super badass looking Ganondorf and Link boss fight. That was obviously pre-rendered, but it looked amazing. And then like the first Zelda game they announced is Wind Waker, and it looks nothing like that. And I was one of those people that was like, sucks, never played it. But once I got a Wii U, because I got a Wii U not late, but not at launch either. I knew I was eventually going to buy one because Bayonetta 2 was exclusive to Bayonetta 2 was exclusive to the Wii U, so I knew I was going to get it eventually. I eventually got it after Bayo 2 had dropped, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had dropped, or Mario Kart 8, Mario 3D World, and maybe it's like something else. And I was like, okay, I'll buy it now. And there was kind of a lull there where I wasn't really playing anything, so I got Wind Waker HD. I was like, let me give this game a second chance, and I'm so glad I did. Like, Wind Waker is an amazing game. I think it's awesome. Like, it sucks that I missed it all those years before, but at least I got to play it, and I think its best form on the Wii U. Being able to, like, sailing and being able to look at the map and the chart on, like, the gamepad, that was, like, the perfect kind of use for the gamepad, which, like, so many games on the Wii U didn't utilize properly. So I think it did a great job of bringing the game forward, like putting it on another platform that people could play, and also demonstrating what the system was capable of with its peripheral. Also, it's an awesome game. Like, I'm so disappointed in myself that I thought it was bad back in the day without even playing it. That being said, it is a definite A tier. Like, it's good. It's up there. So, what's next? We have Link Between Worlds, which is basically a direct sequel to Link to the Past, which I've already talked about, and I'm sure I've gotten destroyed over for not liking that much. That being said, though, when I first played Link to the Past, or when I played it later in life when I was older, I was expecting like this big, huge, giant game with a great story and stuff like that, and it's a good game, but like it has basically no story. And Link Between Worlds is what I thought Link to the Past was before I played it. I really like Link Between Worlds. It's not my favorite 3DS Zelda game because Ocarina of Time is there, but I do really like it. I don't quite think it's an A. I think a B is a good grade for that. Really good game. I do really enjoy it. Then we have Hyrule Warriors, which is a spinoff. First came out on the Wii U, was later ported to Switch, which I have, the definitive edition. But I was a big fan of the Dynasty Warriors games on the PlayStation 2. They were some of my favorite games back then. Dynasty Warriors 3, Dynasty Warriors 5, two of my favorite PlayStation 2 games. And whenever Koei Tecmo kind of like spins off and does a warrior kind of game, but for another franchise I like, I do get excited. I don't think they're as good as they were back in the day, but I am excited. I always get excited for them. Like they did Dynasty Warriors Gundam. They did, Legend of Zelda, obviously. I didn't really like the Berserk version, like Berserk, it's just called Berserk and the Band of the Hawk, which makes no sense. That title doesn't make sense. But I actually really like Hyrule Warriors, the first one, especially the definitive edition. It has all these great characters to play as. You can play as freaking Marin from Link's Awakening. The Zelda in that game is badass with her rapier, stuff like that. I think it's a really fun game. I can play it anytime. It's a fun game you can just pick up and play, especially with it on Switch. You can take it with you anywhere if you want. I think it's really, really fun. I love the deep cut references. I can't possibly put it, on the same tier as these up here. So I am going to put it right there in the B. It's a great game. I love it, but it's not on that upper echelon. So up next we have Majora's Mask 3DS. I actually have a poster of this game over there. I'll show it to you. Which that's back when GameStop was still cool. When the power-ups reward thing actually gave you like physical stuff. Like there was that, and I got that from that, and also that Star Fox Zero poster, which is cool. But yeah, back when GameStop was decent. Anyway, 3DS game. It's the same deal as Ocarina of Time. Like it's the same game. It's a little bit like they streamlined the Bomber Notebook a little bit, so there's that. But other than that, it's just a better looking version of the original game, which is nothing wrong with that. So it goes right there. That's where we're going. Triforce Heroes. I actually have played this game on the 3DS. 3DS? I can't remember. A couple of my friends got me to play it, thinking it was going to be like something we're going to do from now on, and I just was like, it's fine. Multiplayer game, I guess. I don't have much to say about it. So then we're down to, of these remaining games, I've played 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this game's not even out yet. I don't know why you would rate that. You don't even know. You haven't even played it. So, anyway, Breath of the Wild. I first played it on the Wii U, actually. I did not get a Switch at launch. So I played it on the Wii U. And then I have it on Switch now, obviously. Not obviously. You don't know. You don't know these things. But I have it on the Switch. And so I played through it 3 times. Once on Wii U, twice on Switch. And I do love the game. Like, I love Breath of the Wild. I don't think it... I think the story is, like, good. I'm not really a fan of, like, being, like, all flashbacks. I kind of wish, like, we had that game, which... We were supposed to get that game. That's coming up. That's a whole nother thing. But... It's kind of like... When you play the game and you get, like, all, like, the memories and stuff like that, you're like, I wish I was playing that game. Like... When can I look at that? When can I play that game? But it's an incredible game. I think it's great. Despite it coming out, 2017, I guess? And we're in 2024 now. I do have nostalgia for it, even though it's like a newer game. I think I love the world and things like that. It's just like I do like the Zelda games better when I have when they're a little bit more linear. Like Ocarina of Time, yeah, there's like an open world, but you can only progress through it in a certain order. So that, not so much Majora's Mask, if I remember correctly, but that's how I kind of like my Zelda games, where they have like a structure. And with Breath of the Wild, you don't really have that. It's like, here's all the abilities you need right at the beginning, go. And for a lot of people, that's very appealing. And I see that appeal, and I understand it. But I miss having true big dungeons. You have the 4 main dungeons, which are inside robotic animals. But yeah, I love the game, but I can't put it on that S tier. Right there at A, I think is where it goes. Cadence of Hyrule. This is another spin-off game. I thought I would like, because it's a spin-off of Crypt of the Necromancer. Is that what it's called? But unfortunately, I didn't really like it that much. I like rhythm and beat games fine. That wasn't the problem. I guess I was expecting a little bit more than what they gave us. That being said, I don't really want to give it an F. It's not bad, but it's not that bad. Okay, there we go. D. Put it in D. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. So basically, what I was saying with Breath of the Wild, they're showing you like the past. It's like, okay, here's all the stuff that happened before, and you're like, man, I want to play that. Like, oh, I think I just tried to like launch my assistant thing by accident. So ignore whatever just happened. But when you're playing Breath of the Wild, you're like, I wish I was playing that game. And then they came out with Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, another Warriors spinoff, and they're like, this is the canon prequel to Breath of the Wild. And I was like, oh. And I played it, and then the more you play it, the more you're like, no, it's not. Like, it's total. They blatantly lied when they said that. I swear they said it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I swear they said that at some point in the marketing. That being said, it's also not nearly as fun as the first Warriors game. I'm usually not like a graphics or performance whore, but Hyrule Warriors, the original one, runs at 60 frames per second, and this game runs at 30 frames per second. And that doesn't sound like it would affect the fun of the game that much, but it really does. Like, it doesn't have as much fast-paced like action as the first Warriors game did. And basically, I just played as Urbosa and like my muscle mommy waifu, but I only ever wanted to play as her, so it doesn't have like the off-the-wall crazy shit that the first game did, and it doesn't have it didn't deliver what it promised, and that was like the real prequel story of Breath of the Wild. So I think that's a D, brother. Yeah, not so good. So anyway, that leaves us with not the latest game that released, but we've already done that one. That was Link's Awakening. That leaves us with Tears of the Kingdom. And I do like the game, but I do think it is very flawed in that it's a retread of the same map, which is fair. It's a direct sequel. Then they had the sky, and it's like, okay, the sky's fine. I was really worried they were going to try and like tie it in with Skyward Sword because I hate that game. But thankfully they didn't do that. Not really, at least. But they once again like went back. The story goes, it's like another big flashback basically, and it goes like, I guess it's before Skyward Sword. Like, I almost felt like it retconned it. Like, I'm sure it didn't, but like that's what it felt like, and I was kind of like, yeah, get him. But that was fine. But then they also added the underground, and the underground is as big as the world map. It's so nuts. Like, if they took the underground out, I would like the game better. If that makes any sense. I feel like I've said, does that make any sense? A lot in this game, or a lot in this video. But I do like it. It is, real quick, if you haven't beat this game, spoilers from here for a little while, I don't know, but for the next few minutes, it's gonna be spoilers. So here's your warning. This does have one of the most hypest final sequences, not of any Zelda game, but any game, period. Like, I was pogging when I was playing the end of this game. Going down like into like the dungeon area, or like sub dungeon, I guess, of like Hyrule Castle, like it's so creepy and it's so cool to see. There is like the big Royal Rumble where like it's you and like all your buddies like fighting like all the moblins and stuff. Like that part's kind of whatever. But from when you walk in the door to fight Ganondorf to the post-credit sequence, that shit is so badass. Like, the Ganondorf fight is so cool. The stupid, sexy Ganondorf. In that he follows the same rules as you. Let me explain that. I like any game where like the enemies have to do the same thing that you do, or can do the same thing that you do. And in that battle, what he can do is he can perfect dodge you. And the first time he does it, I swung the Master Sword at him or whatever. He backflips. Time slows down. It plays the music, or it plays the sound effect, like when you do it. And I was like I stood up out of my chair. I was like, oh! So that was cool. I was like, he's gonna flare rush me. Am I dead? But like, there's that, and then holy shit, like you go up in the sky, you're riding on the big white dragon, you're fighting him. It's such a cool sequence. And then, of course, you know, this is spoiler territory, so we can talk about it. Zelda is the white dragon. She sacrificed her humanity thousands of years ago so that Link in the future could have the Master Sword. That part was so cool. Like, the story, I think, is a little bit better than Breath of the Wild's in a way. But that sequence, and then when you beat Ganon, Zelda turns back into a human, and there's that sequence where you have to dive after her. It's playing the Tears of the Kingdom theme, and then it transitions into Zelda's Lullaby, and then it transitions into like the main Zelda theme. It's, dude, that shit was so like, that got me, like, I was ready to run through a brick wall, like, when that sequence is over. It was so good. That alone might be enough to, like, put it in S. I'm not gonna do that, though. It's almost like I wish I had the basics. Like, I wish Breath of the Wild just had the ending sequence of Here's the Kingdom. That would have been perfect. But we're going to put it right there. I don't think it's quite... I mean, it's better. I'm just going to shut up. We're not going to talk about it. So there we go. Our S tier is Ocarina of Time. Whenever I do like a tier list, that's like... If you're going to do like this like plus tier, like an S tier, the majority of your picks can't be in there. So I'm happy with that. Ocarina of Time, S tier. Let's go. A tier, we have the 2 versions of Majora's Mask. My brain's farting. We have Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, specifically the HD version, and then the 2 Switch games. B, we got Link Between Worlds and Hyrule Warriors. C, we have Link to the Past. Excuse me, Link to the Past, yeah. Excuse me. Oh, I messed up. Link's Awakening goes here. Next to the other Link's Awakening. Okay, there we go. So, Link to the Past, 2 Oracle games. D tier, we have, I'm sorry, Link's Awakening, twice. Triforce Heroes, Cadence of Hyrule, and Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. And then F tier, Skyward Sword. But anyway, that is it. We have done it. We've done the tier list. If you so wish to, maybe I'll put a link to this in the description. Do your own tier list and link it in the comments. We can talk about it. We can do whatever we want. But once again, this was a subscriber special for getting 350 subs, which, you know, there's YouTubes with millions of subs out there. But I never once in my life thought that a video I made would get, talking about Daytona USA, would get almost 20,000 views. I was like, that blows my mind. I thank each and every one of you for watching it, even the people who didn't like it. But also thank you to everyone who is a new subscriber. I've been overwhelmed by like the attention that the channel has gotten, and it's made me want to do more. I am working on the next retrospective right now. I guess you can count this as the official announcement. It's going to be the EA Sports NASCAR games for PS2. Specifically, I was going to just do like the NASCAR Thunder games, but I decided, you know, I talk a little bit about the games that came before NASCAR Thunder, talk a little bit about the games that came after NASCAR Thunder, so it's a little bit more It's still mostly Thunder, but you'll see when it comes out. It's I'm working on the script now, stuff like that. I had to get my PS2 working, if you know what I mean, so that I could capture footage and kind of like relive those games. So anyway, like I said, thank you everyone for watching, for subbing, all that kind of stuff. I'm RedCometXIII, and I'll see you next time.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy.